And there we go.
Excellent work.
Absolutely fantastic. Welcome to another podcast, the podcast about the name. And this is all about the TT.
As you can probably see,
Yeah.
our behind us is a lovely display of RITT helmets. They've been like a partner for the TT for ages, haven't they?
Yeah.
There's always like an official RI
Yeah.
TT helmet. But anyway,
For those of you who aren't watching, for listeners, we are in the RI showroom at Motor Direct up in Alfreton.
Normanton.
South Normanton.
Yeah,
Sounds like
Derbyshire area.
Sounds a bit Fireman Sam, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Um,
wonder if Granny Dryden's in.
But yeah, TT, I mean, I'll go as far as to say, I cannot think of a more enchanted place in the world that makes me feel the way it does than the Isle of Man TT.
Yeah, I'm the same, yeah. The first time I ever went there, it was like, it sounds a bit stupid and a bit daft, but it is like you land on the island and it's special, like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and people will probably laugh at me and take the piss for saying that, but it is that type of a place. It's got, I think for people like us that have grown up living and breathing bike racing, that's like Mecca, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. But yeah, so this year is even bigger for a number of reasons. Obviously, it's been a 3 year, or they've had 2 years off, so it's 3 years. And before that, I mean, we probably should have done our homework properly, but before that was foot and mouth, and that was a year off, I think
they had a year off, and then I don't think they've missed any since the war.
So that's a long time.
Yeah.
80 odd years.
If we've got that wrong, there's going to be comments, isn't there? Sorry, yeah,
we should have done our homework properly, but you know.
But yeah, it doesn't happen, does it? The TT always happens. It's every year.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've missed it, so it's been a big loss, hasn't it? Not having it's an event that, you know, people that race there look forward to. You know, for a lot of people, it's the biggest event of the year, and for a lot of spectators and motorcycle fans and race fans, it's their holiday, and it's their summer
annual
holiday.
pilgrimage. Yeah. So there's a lot of people have missed it. I mean, I have a mate who was booked to go in 2020, couldn't go because didn't happen. Booked to go last year, couldn't go because it didn't happen. So hopefully this year, he'll break his TT hymen.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Pop the old cherry.
Because I mean, we've got to talk about the live thing because I mean it's been coming for a long time, but for obvious reasons. You know, for people, there might be accidents and people don't want to see it live on TV and everything else. It's not the best place for a live stream, but obviously it probably won't be live. But yeah, the big news is this year is the live
on telly
streaming
for the first time ever. Which I mean, it's a big enough event that it ought to have been live on telly for a long time, and it's kind of a bit behind the. You know, you look at there's the excuse that it's a time trial and it's over a massive distance and it's not like a short circuit where you can just have half a dozen cameras. Well, the Tour de France seems to manage. The London Marathon seems to manage. So, yeah, I think it's time. It needs to happen, doesn't it? They've got helicopters. They've got, I don't know how many cameras, but I read in a press release a month ago or so that they've got X amount of cameras. They're going to be all around the course. It sounds like they're doing it properly.
Yeah. And 15 quid.
I know, yeah. It almost might as well be free, hasn't it?
It's ridiculous. I mean, I know people love to complain, don't they? People love to moan. But when I first heard of the price, I mean, 15 quid is... That's insane.
That's 1.5.
I was expecting
not
it to be 100.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like a Dorna-style rip-off.
Well, MotoGP video pass, I think that's...
160?
I think it's 199 euros.
Yeah.
So that's about 160 quid. The Supercross video pass, that's similar sort of money. 15 quid, it's nothing. I'd pay 15 quid just to have to not watch the adverts on ITV4.
But there's also, how many people every year for the past however many years at TT get onto the radio, Manx radio, on the computer, and sit around and watch that all day.
They sit at work, with the radio on in the background, listening to the racing,
and for an extra 15 quid, you have all of that, and you
can watch it. They're not going to get any work done, are they?
No. So, obviously, most people know you're participating again.
Yeah,
22.
That's the plan. So this will be my 4th TT.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a ZX10 and a Triumph 675. Now they're both bikes that I raced back in, when was the last TT? 2019.
Yeah.
So I've done little bits and pieces on them, or I've done bits and pieces on the ZX10. I haven't done a lot on the Triumph since then. But yeah, they've kind of sat there ready to go. Really, there's a few little bits and pieces just to finish off on the ZX10. But yeah, the bikes are pretty much ready to go. I'm almost ready to go. There's a lot I need to sort, and that's something we can talk about. So one of the biggest hurdles that most people have with any type of bike racing or any type of motorsport is paying for it, and the TT costs a lot of money. It's actually probably one of the cheaper ways to go bike racing.
Yeah.
But
there's
still
no entries.
No
entries are free.
Yeah, no entry fees,
Yeah.
which is unheard of really in bike racing these days.
Yeah.
So that's a massive bonus. But there's still a lot of costs. The cost of getting all the kit and equipment over to the Isle of Man, the tyres, fuel, which with the rate fuel's going up these days, you can't even guess how much fuel you're going to use.
It's
how
gonna be
much
grand, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's been a lot of people that have said that they'd like to help in a small way. So my plan this year is I want to run a helmet with as many people's names on it as I can get, because I know a lot of people want to be part of it. They've not got loads and loads of money, but they just want to be part of the team. So the plan is for 44 quid, because that's my number in the Northwest 200, which is handy.
Nice touch.
So for £44, I'll put your name on the helmet. Only small. I've got one of them sticker machines.
Yeah.
So we're going to print out your name, stick it on the helmet, and take you along to the Northwest 200 and the TT with me. So if anyone wants to get involved, we'll put a link to that. We're going to set up a PayPal account. We'll put a link to that in the Dizzy. And yeah.
Description for those who don't know what a Dizzy is.
Dizzy, yeah. So yeah, if you want to get involved in a small way,
or a big way,
yeah. You know, there's ideally, like I'm at the minute, I'm still short of a title sponsor. I need a title sponsor. I need someone to come and say, right, here's X amount of £1,000. We'll wrap the bike in their colours, and that that'll be that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. But unfortunately, we haven't found that. So yeah, I've got a few weeks to find a title sponsor. So the search is ramping up. But like I say, if anyone wants to get involved in a small way, 44 quid, and you can come on the whole TT journey with me.
Yeah.
On my helmet. What a better place to be.
Of course, the beauty of the TT paddock is that it's open and anyone can come up to you and have a chat. And
That's I've raced in different paddocks over the years, as I know you have, Alan. One of my favourite things about the TT paddock is it's just dead friendly. It's there's no
bullshit at all.
Yeah, it's just nice and chilled out, and everyone's there for a good time. Like the riders are there to enjoy riding the bike. The fans are there to enjoy riding their bikes, enjoy watching the racing. It's just sometimes certain paddocks are a little bit stuffy, aren't they?
Yeah.
But the TT paddock is ace. So yeah, anyone who's coming over there, I'll be over there for 2 weeks. So anyone who's got a summer holiday to the Isle of Man, come and say hello.
And obviously, going back to that 3-year gap or two, it's been 3 years since the last one. But how do you think riders are going to cope? Because that's a long time. We got to we sort of not peaked, because people will always go faster and bikes will always evolve and get better. But Hickman and Harrison, particularly those boys, were just going faster and faster and faster, and it was becoming silly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, gone are the days now where you go, oh, they're riding at 80%.
Yeah.
They are not
anymore.
No way.
No, you can see by just watching the footage.
Yeah.
It's frighteningly fast, and I genuinely think it all depends on the weather and stuff at the Isle of Man, doesn't it? So you don't know what you're going to get. But if we have a good practice week, I think by the time we go racing, they'll be getting up towards maybe not lap record pace, smashing a lap record pace, but they'll be up.
Do you reckon?
I'm sure. Just
Because 3 years is a long time.
Yeah, but they haven't stopped riding for 3 years, have they?
No,
You know,
but it doesn't matter. You know as well as anyone. You know, circuit knowledge and everything. Let's not forget the circuit's changed a bit as well.
Yeah.
There's new surface from all the way from Ramsey to all the way up halfway up the mountain.
Yeah. Well, we was there when they were just about to start doing it, weren't we?
Yeah. But I just can't see, you know, that there's nowhere else like it in the world. And I personally don't think, I can't see it, that they will go straight away into that, back into the 135.
I think by the time the racing starts, if practice week's good, they'll be up there. And by the end, again, if it's good weather, by the end of race week, they'll be breaking lap records again.
Yeah.
I think, a couple of years off is a long time, but they're all very, very good riders, and the bikes have got better, and they're all right. Not all of the sort of top 10 or 20 are kind of racing week in, week out at British and stuff, but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
The top boys are, like Hickman. He hasn't got any slower over the past few years, has he? Harrison hasn't. Do you know?
In fact, he's become a proper decent short circuit rider now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Whereas before he was like one of those token TT riders entering just to get his signatures.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now he's
he's a player. Yeah. So I think it's just going to be just as fast. I don't think anyone is going to have an easy time. No, you know, it's you're going to have to if you want to win or even get anywhere near the podium, you're going to have to really, really push, I think.
And do you think anyone will be able to take it to those two?
It wouldn't seem that way, would it?
No, I don't think so.
I can't think of anyone who would. But then maybe Hutchie.
Yeah.
Maybe Hutchie, but then I genuinely don't know how fit he is. Looking at the past results, you would say it's going to be them two. But then you know, I saw a photograph of Michael Dunlop recently, and he looks like he's lost a bit of timber, and
he does. Yeah.
You know, if he's having a proper go, because he's.
But I mean,
I think what he lacks
Ducati.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't. It's a risk, isn't it? Because you don't know what it's going to be like.
No, exactly. And you speak to anyone over there, like I won't mention names, but people who are, you know, well connected with the TT, shall we say? And they're like, you know, anyone who is dumb enough to ride the Ducati, which, you know, you look at its short circuit history, and I can understand maybe back in the day when they weren't as good as they are now. I wouldn't want to ride one around there, but you know.
Well, we rode the road bike there, didn't we? And it was, you'd have to say, almost head and shoulders above anything else on that big fast mountain road. Yeah. But it's whether or not it can last. You know, a 6-lap race around there rattles even the best bikes. You know, the most robust bikes, and Ducatis aren't known for the robustness, are they?
They're going to have like a 30-litre tank as well. What's the maximum tank?
20. You can only have 24. Yeah. So actually, they're going to have to do something clever with that, aren't they? Yeah. To stop it drinking all the fuel. Yeah. They'll have a 24-litre tank and then like loads of fuel line all the way around.
Was it NASCAR?
NASCAR.
Yeah.
I read a thing. A NASCAR team. They plumbed. You know, the roll cage.
Yes.
They plumbed the roll cage into the fuel tank. Well,
Genius.
yeah. I wouldn't want to drive it though, would you?
No, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. I heard a similar story, but they had the fuel lines going through the tube.
Right, yeah.
So it wasn't the tubing itself, it was a fuel line.
It was maybe that. I've maybe just embellished a little bit because it's a better story, isn't it?
What about you, though? I mean, we talk about riders being prepared and stuff. You know, you haven't done any racing, really.
No.
You know, you've pretty much back to, not square one, but, you know the track. But in terms of actual preparation, you know, let's not forget as well, your last visit there, was it 13th in the senior? 14th in the senior.
Yeah, I was dead happy with that. I was really proud of that. I'm not expecting that to necessarily happen again. Like you say, I've not done any real racing in that. I've done bits and pieces. I did the Spa 6-hour last year on the ZX10, and rode the 650 a few times. Yeah. Loads of stuff on the GSXR 125.
Yeah, of course.
Whether that counts or not, I don't know. I don't know how much. But yeah, you're right. When I started at the TT. I kind of that was off the back of probably 7 or 8 years of riding kind of constantly in British.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I just ride bits and bobs. So I'm not going. I know that to go there and to try and be competitive and to try and be fast, you have to be. You have to push and you have to be bike fit and you've got to be really sharp. I probably haven't got that sharpness now that I had, so I'm not going to go there expecting to win.
No,
My bike's not fast enough to win. I'm not fast enough to win. But I know that if we have a good week and everything, bit of a backwind, we can have a good result. And a good result for me is like I say, if I was top 15 again, I'd be over the moon. I'm not going there to win it.
No,
I'm going there to enjoy it. It's one of the only places in the world where you can ride a 200 brake horsepower bike flat out with the throttle to the stop on the rev limiter in top gear for a minute at a time. It's absolutely bonkers, and I love it. And it's the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
And it's such an awesome event to be part of. It's just I want to go and do it because I love doing it. It's not because I want to win. I'd love to win one day, but realistically, if that was ever going to happen, it's not going to happen this year because, like we've said, I think you need to do the TT and then ride maybe in British simultaneously because that's just what all the top lads are doing, and I can't afford to do that at the minute. So,
I mean, I can, getting married and having kids is supposed to be the best days of your life.
Yeah,
but they come second to the 20 minutes that I experienced during practice week with me and
Dan Harrison. Yeah, I remember you telling me this story.
It was without that the best 20 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
It was like a short circuit race. I kind of knew where I was going. It was like the final night of practice or before the race, and it was just there's no you cannot articulate it properly.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world no way anyone could do that properly.
It's the best 37.7 miles of tarmac I've ever
I agree.
Experienced. I mean, there's some bits that I would maybe resurface.
Yes, I don't know if I've mentioned this enough on 44 Teeth, but that section from Ginger Hall to Ramsey ruins the whole course for me.
Yeah.
The rest of the course I could ride all day, every day, and not have any problems. Whereas that is
you spend the whole lap dreading that bit, don't you?
Yeah,
it's frightening. And
I've never ridden it on a superbike, so I dread to think.
The bike, it tries the bumps, trying to rip the handlebars out your hand.
Yeah.
The faster you go, a few people have said, "Oh, it's all right, just open the throttle and ride over it." And the faster you go, the easier it is. It isn't. It's the faster you go, the harder it is.
Yeah.
It's just fucking. Perhaps as a way you can sort of mitigate that a little bit with your setup, but I haven't found a setup that irons them bumps out. It's horrendous.
Everyone that overtook me during that section in practice week would be stood up like a jockey.
Yeah.
It was like someone coming past on a horse.
Yeah.
Motocrossing, just the whole way for miles. It's like I couldn't do that for like 30 seconds, let alone how many minutes it takes to get through to Ramsey.
No, I spent the whole lap dreading that section, but you just got to get through it. And that was actually one of the most difficult sections for me to learn as well.
Yeah,
because it all looks a bit the same, doesn't it? It's just a bumpy road and some trees and stuff.
Yeah.
There isn't much like everywhere else. It all looks, the houses are different, and then there's just no real reference. It's just all. So I really struggled with that bit. And then there's two bits, Kerramore and what's the other one called? Where that white gate is. There's two corners that are really similar in that bit, and I kept getting them mixed up when I was learning.
But it all looks the same, doesn't it? It's all green, it's all bumpy, it's all there's no real reference, and it's just it's just unlike the rest of the course. Obviously, there's no shortcut around it. They couldn't just and it is
that's part of it.
Part of it. Yeah. You've got to deal with it.
It's a bit like when they take an awesome GP circuit and then put a shit chicane in the middle of it. It just like breaks the flow of the whole thing up, doesn't it? So we talked about how long the course is. How long did it take you to learn it? How did you go over there? And
I went over probably 20 times. It was a case of hire car, onboard laps, and I just did. I remember someone saying to me, you need to watch an onboard lap every night for at least 6 months building up to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Because there's not one area where I got lost.
Yeah. So, do you know what? So many people said to me, oh, you'll get lost, you'll forget where you are. But I never did.
No.
But I put the time and effort in. I did that. I watched, every night before bed, I'd lay in my bed, watch an onboard lap on my phone. I used to watch that John McGuinness one.
Yes, the 2000 the senior on the blade.
Yeah, that's right.
With it popping and banging. Oh, my God.
Yeah. He misses a gear somewhere in the Glen Helen section. I think he misses a gear somewhere.
I can't remember.
Anyway,
that's that one.
That video I watched time and time again.
It's poetry.
Yeah, I can't go that fast.
Was it 132, 133?
Something like that. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. But then I did probably not as many trips as you. I think I went over maybe 10 times.
Yeah.
Leading up to it, kind of once a month, and just did the same hire car. I'd do 2 laps in a hire car, watch an onboard, get my head down for a couple of hours, and then just go back, like literally all 3. The best laps were in the night, you know, when it was when the roads are empty, and you could see around, you could see if there was anything coming with the headlight, so you could like sneak a bit of the other lane.
But I mean, the thing is, and this is what surprised me, is you can do as much preparation as you want, and nothing prepares you for what you can do on a bike when you've got the whole road to use. Because the thing is, in a hire car, really, even at night, whatever, I don't care who you are, you can only really have one dimension. And there was a completely another set of dimensions thrown at you when you go on your newcomer lap.
Yeah. Well, I remember going out on my newcomer lap and honestly thinking, what a waste of time watching all them onboards were. What a waste of time all them laps in a hire car, because it's completely different. It's not even anything like it. And actually, I came in from my newcomers speed control lap, and I genuinely was having second thoughts, because I thought, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I can do it. All the other lads that were on the speed control lap with me were wanting to go way faster than I was, and I was like, fucking hell, like I'm not sure about this. And the lads that I was with said, do a couple of laps by yourself and see how we feel. And after a few laps, I was all right. But I think it was because it is just so different, and it was worth doing all them laps, because the fact was, I always knew what was coming next.
Yeah,
like you can't really learn turning points and braking markers and stuff like that. It's not for that. No. It's literally for what's the next corner? Is it left or is it right? Or is it 100 mile an hour?
Mile
exactly.
Just building
always,
up to it.
Always knowing what's there, what's coming. Because if you get a lot, like you hear stories, don't you, of people thinking they're at one place and they're somewhere else. Like Mossy, thinking is at Bishop's Court and is at Greenwood Bridge, wasn't it? Yeah. So he's gone flat out the wrong way. And ended up in someone's living room. But a lot of it looks quite. You can see how people would do that if they've not done the homework. So in my first year was 2016, and one of the other newcomers that year was Alex Polita. Now, if you've never heard of Alex Polita, he's like a top level sort of world superbike level.
European Superstock champion.
I think he was European Superstock champion.
Italian Superbike champion.
You'll see him. He's a very, very good rider. Way better than me. So he was in the newcomer the same year as me, and I expected him to be way fast, like not even stand a chance. But you could tell he hadn't learnt it. He was actually a bit quicker than me in the qualifying week, but I was just building slowly, real slowly. So I think he was maybe a place or two in front of me in qualifying. So I set off behind him, caught him straight away
in the race.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe what it was like. You could just tell he didn't know where he was going. It was like middle of the track everywhere, kind of 50 pence piece in all the corners. It was going quite quick, but quick for a newcomer. It was at that point he wasn't that. I wasn't going much quicker than him, but you could just tell he didn't know where he was going. And once I passed him, I didn't like following him because I thought any minute something's gonna happen. He's gonna get it wrong. It was all right, but I passed him and I was much more comfortable when I passed him. And then I had a look behind me after a few corners and he was nowhere. I'm convinced that's because he didn't put the homework in, and I think it's probably a bit more difficult for him because there'd be a language barrier. Because I watched a lot of the videos where Milky Quayle's talking it over and stuff, and spent a lot of time over there with Johnny Barton and Milky and chatting about it. And we would have. I know he spent a bit of time over there, but it would have been more difficult for him.
It would have been, but I mean, just for those listening and watching, there's now so much effort into bringing newcomers over safely and making them faster, quicker. So, he had all the opportunity in the world to come over. You know, your flights are paid for, or your boat or your hire cars are paid for. So you can come over as much as you want to go and learn a circuit. Johnny and Milky Quayle are there, and they will go out with you, and they will put the hours in Saturday and Sunday, or Friday nights as well. Whatever, they will go above and beyond to make sure you're safe and fast. And it's there's no excuses. You can either go out there and and build up to it, or you can. I guess he's in Italy. He's got other priorities and stuff. You can't. But there's no real excuse if you want to go and do it properly.
If you're going to do it, then you should do it properly. Yeah. And I don't think he's been back.
No. No.
But to be honest, I wouldn't have been back if I'd have gone and if I hadn't have learnt it. Excuse me. If I hadn't have learnt it, I wouldn't have enjoyed it, and I wouldn't have gone back. I actually thought about. So I was 26, 25 when I did my first TT. I went there I went to watch when I was 21, 20 maybe. And I fell in love with it there, and then I thought, right, I'm going to do this. And at that point, I was doing all right in British, and I probably could have maybe sweet talked a few people into helping me go in, and I nearly did. I nearly kind of tried to make it happen. But my dad said to me, he said, look, if you're doing that, I don't want to be any part of it because you're not ready to do it. Yeah. And it was right. I crashed a lot, and he knew me better than anyone else, and he said, you're not ready to do that. And I'm glad I listened to him because I wouldn't have learnt it. I wouldn't have respected it. I wouldn't have put the time and effort into learning it, and I probably would have gone and not been able to ride as fast as I wanted to because I wouldn't know what's coming next. I would have been like Alex Polita, trying to go quick, but you need to know where you're going. That's the most important thing, I think. So there's some high-profile newcomers this year, isn't there? Yeah. And a lot of people have asked me how they're going to get on. Listen, Glenn Irwin's a fast rider, isn't he? Yeah. And he'll be on a very good bike. Hopefully, he'll have put the time and effort into learning. I'm sure he will. He's not going to do it half-assed.
He's put a lot of effort in.
He's not going to do it half-assed.
And it's not like he's coming fresh into it. He's Northwest and Macau.
Exactly. And I think he's done the Ulster as well. So it's not like he's done road racing. Yeah. It's just another road. Oh, it's not just another road race. It's a lot longer than any of them. But he's not new to road racing. No. He's not a new team. If he's learnt the track, he'll be very, very, very fast. But I worry that there's for someone like that, there is going to be pressure.
What's the deal with this? Because he's got a decent start number, isn't he? I didn't think. What's that about?
I don't know.
Special dispensation. Is it?
Special, yeah, something.
Because I honestly thought that you were 50, 60 plus, whatever.
Yeah, well, Pete Hickman was 60, I think, when he started. Yeah. In his first year. Yeah. But he was number 60. Number 60 anyway. Yeah. So I don't know. So that's bumped me down a number, which I'm totally fine about. No, and it's bumped me down. Obviously, it's bumped me down a few actually because there's a couple of lads come up from the Manx Grand Prix that they're expecting to be quick. To be honest with you, normally I genuinely wouldn't be asked, but this year for the first time since I've ever done it, they're not starting us off in qualifying order. So you know how they start the top 20 number order? Well, they're doing that throughout the field now. Yes. So there is qualifying, but the qualifying is they've cut the numbers down. So they've taken quite a few entries, or slightly more entries than they're going to allow in the race, And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think on the big bikes it's 50 starters,
Yes.
and on the 600s and the mini twins it's 60 starters.
Yeah.
So there will be some people going home
Yeah.
if they've not qualified. But yeah,
Which, that's is that a lot of is that a bit more pressure to push?
for some people probably, yeah. For some people, I like to think that I've done it. I've done it a couple of times now. I think I can. I hope I will be within the qualifying time.
You'll be fine.
Without
You'll be absolutely fine.
Without going nuts. And I think someone like Glenn Irwin will. But yeah, there's going to be people that on that cusp.
But going back to the prep, and again, this is something I've never really talked about, but that my preparation for my first TT was far from ideal, because a month before we were due to get the boat over and start practice week, my youngest was in intensive care, and he was on a life support machine, and he actually left us. He had double pneumonia. Doctor said, right, come in, say goodbyes, and of course you're building up to what is probably the most important event of your life, and then having all this shit going on as well. But somehow, miraculously, he ended up in a life support machine in Leicester for just over a week. And then one day, this was 2 weeks before TT started, his SATs went up and his numbers were fine, and he woke up.
Just got better.
Just got better.
Like that.
And of course, my missus was like, she's like, I said, I can't go. I'm not ready. She goes, look, you might not ever have the chance again. Go and do it. So I was like, fucking hell. So I packed my bags. Literally, he was in hospital when I left. And I packed my bags, got everything ready, and I set off. So my mind was not in the right place from day one, really.
Yeah.
But then, as soon as I left on my newcomer lap, that was it. I mean, nothing in the world mattered.
Yeah. It changes your it just changes your life, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And it's so. I'm going back to what we were talking about right at the beginning about being this special place and the enchanted island and that. I mean, it's a bit cringy.
It is. It's embarrassing. Yeah. If someone else was telling me about something, a horse racing event, and how special it is, you think, pull the other one, give it a rest.
Yeah,
grow up, shut up.
There's something about that place.
Yeah, and aren't we lucky to have it on our doorstep?
Yeah.
The fact that we live in England and the Isle of Man is there.
Yeah.
Because that'd have been a right pain in the ass if it was like in New Zealand or something. Wouldn't it?
Yeah. I remember Hillier telling me, he was like, when we talked about it before I went there, and he said, it will change your life, and I was saying, yeah, whatever, mate. Yeah. It changes your perception of life and how you see things in life.
Yeah.
Because what you've just done or what you have done in the past, it changes the way you think, the way you smell, taste, all your senses, how your brain works, everything post TT is just completely different.
Yeah. Well, it's like a drug that you kind of you've never cured from it. Oh, yeah, but it's in a good way. It's not like I've loved being part of that event and racing there, and yeah, and a lot of people said to me before I raced at the TT, they said, you come and race at the TT, you won't bother with short circuits anymore because they won't interest you, and that's true. Like, I still enjoy riding on the short circuits, but all of a sudden now, the money that it costs to go short circuit racing, it's almost not worth it now.
No,
because I can't get. I used to think that racing in British Superstock or whatever was the best thing in the world, and it can't get any better than that. And then I go and do something that's better, and then all of a sudden, well, yeah, I like it, but like I'm not gonna spend every penny I earn to go and do it because I found something that I'd rather do.
Yeah, and it takes the edge off it.
Yeah,
it's like going from a drug that you used to be addicted to that was the best thing in the world, and now you've tried the next best thing, and there's no point doing that anymore.
Yeah, it's like BSB's like a a
Spice.
gateway drug.
Yeah.
It's a Bacardi Breezer. So what was your first experience of the TT? Did you go and watch? I guess you went and watched before you raced there, did you? Or
I did, yeah. But I never grew up wanting to race it because my dad, he was like, look, don't, he's like, look, we'll put the effort in to go road racing, short circuit racing, but I don't want you to do TT. I've respected my dad. He raced to a decent level. He helped me out. He knew a lot about road racing and got me to where I kind of needed to be. But I never really. It wasn't something I woke up to. Everyone going, oh, yeah. When the entry thing, we talked about it with James. Let's go and do a TT. Spoke to Paul Phillips. Did all the induction stuff. I still remember the joy of it all happening and the all the emotions that go with it. Were kind of clouded a little bit by the fact that I had to go and tell my mum and dad that I was going to go and do the TT as a 35-year-old man.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm going to do a TT, and they were like, "Oh, brilliant, okay," and they were fine. They were, I suppose, I don't know how they couldn't be fine.
Fine as you can
yeah,
be.
but they were really receptive, and but it was good. But I can't remember how we were talking about.
Your first experience.
First experience. So I was 21, and just went over there with some mates and got pissed up, and then that's when I first said maybe, I'd like to do it, but I had no interest because I still had my goal, my dream of being a MotoGP racer.
Yeah.
So,
but that's very similar to me, really. I when I was growing up, I never really gave the TT a second thought. I would watch it if it was on, but really wasn't particularly bothered. And then when I was 21, I was 20 or 21, we decided to go over, just a bunch of mates. In fact, just me and my mate Johnny, actually. And we met some mates over there. Yeah, Johnny Blackshaw, yeah. We met some mates over there and just to have like a piss up. And it was the best holiday I could have asked for. It was just watching bikes go around there. And I think the fact that it was such a good holiday with such good mates, and you see these like videos of people's reaction, people's faces when the bikes go past them the first time at the TT, and it was like fucking Jesus, like I couldn't believe what I was watching. So the seeing the bikes, spending that time, I just was like, I've got to be part of this. So yeah, from then on, that's when I decided I wanted to do it. But like I said, my dad was like, don't think it's the best idea, so I put it off for a few years.
Yeah.
And it was actually my dad who kind of semi brought the idea back up when I was about 25. We was in Cartagena testing so it was 2015, I think it would have been. I was in Cartagena doing some pre-season testing before the season of British Superstock, and I was sharing a garage with Keith Amore, a Scottish bloke who used to be really good at TT.
Sound bloke as well.
Yeah, really nice guy. So I chatted to him loads, and we rode a bit together on track, and I was a little bit quicker than him, and I thought, fucking hell, like he's a good rider, and I can keep up with him. This is like maybe I'm ready to go and do the TT. And I chatted to him about it a lot, and my dad said, look, maybe it's time to give that some thought. So when he said that, I was like, right, yes, red rag to a bull, and it kind of made things happen off the back of that, really. So I think a lot of people, or most young lads or young men and women, when they're racing, it's a family thing, isn't it? You go and do it with your dad or whatever, and even though my dad wouldn't have stopped me doing the TT when I was younger, the fact that he wasn't on board was enough for me to be like, well, I'm probably not going to do it then, because I needed that support at the time, and like still do, really. Like now I'm going racing this year to the TT, I'm doing it with my dad and some mates. It's like that's kind of what we do. So I probably wouldn't have been able to do it without him, and I wouldn't have wanted to anyway. So we both raced in 2016.
Yeah.
You've not been back since. What's the? Did you want to? Did you?
I wanted to. So I entered every year. So I entered up until 2019 was the first year I didn't enter.
Mm-hmm.
So 2017, the plug was pulled. So James had some money set aside for the team, and 2 weeks before the start, James had to make a decision and ditch 2 riders, and he ditched me and Dan, and kept his 2 best riders, which is fair enough. And he said, "Do you want to find some money?" And at that point, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to go out and find time, money, fuel, etc., which would cost probably $3,000, which is not a lot. But I was just, I'm not, couldn't do it. And me and Dan didn't go back. And then the year after was like that. I should have gone that year because it was a gap. And once you've had 1 year and then you fall a year behind, you know yourself. If you get a consistency, you need 3 years before you even think about going quickly, properly anyway.
Yeah.
But it's something. So obviously, I won't go into details, but there was a rider killed in 2016. You put it behind you, you go back out on track, and that bit didn't faze me. But it was afterwards when I saw his kids in the paddock, and they were wandering around, scooting around with no idea where their dad was, and that kind of coupled with what had happened with my youngest, just literally weeks before, that really cut me out. And I never talked about it before, really, but that it really kind of, I went back to the motorhome and just lay there, and it affected me way more than it should do. But it didn't. And so the point is, that next year, all things, paid for the ferry, entries in, everything done, good to go. And then obviously the money was pulled. I didn't go back. And the year after I entered, but then I pulled out because it's a risk versus reward thing.
Yeah.
And Martin Jessup said the same thing. He hasn't gone back because now he's getting to the age now where he's got kids and they go racing. And it's like, what benefit? I never wanted it to be a bucket list thing. I wanted to go there. I wanted to keep going back.
Yeah.
And and just ride safe, ride fast, get better and better. But it didn't work out like that, and I am gutted about that. It hasn't worked out the way I planned out or hoped it had panned out. So it's difficult to take, but the reward is far less than the risk for me. Yeah.
I understand what you mean, and it is a very selfish thing to do, but at the same time,
also the best thing.
It's also the best thing. I if I didn't do it, I would be I'd be a miserable person. I would. That's the thing that I do, or one of the things that I do that makes me happy, and I'm not going to do it for the rest of my life. I'm not ready to stop yet.
No.
And if I stop because of the fact that it's a risk, and the people around me that love me maybe don't want me to do it.
Yeah.
It's not a resentment thing, is it? It's more I feel like with something like this, you need to make the decision yourself.
Oh, definitely.
When you stop racing, whether it's a TT, whether it's short circuits, you need to make the decision yourself. Otherwise, you'll live the rest of your life thinking, I should be doing this.
Yeah.
I could have done this. Where could I have been? Imagining what you could have done. When I finished racing in British, I was ready to finish racing in British. I know loads of my mates, they finished before they were ready, usually because they run out of money, or sometimes because they were injured, or sometimes because the family didn't want them to. And they're all, my age now, in the 30s or older, and they're all thinking, maybe I could just go back and do a bit more. I wonder if I can. But that's because they've finished before they're ready to finish. I'm not really that bothered about going back to BSB because I feel like I've been there and done it and ticked it off.
And you need to be young, and you need to be fit,
exactly,
you need to be hungry, you need to be loaded. And we're not any of those anymore.
No. Well, I've never been most of them things. But I think the TT's the same. You need to get out of your system.
I totally agree.
And one day I'll get out of my system. Did you come across any of the top lads, any of the really fast ones on track?
Yes.
It's frightening, isn't it?
I mean, even because the first when you're out on a Super Twin, you're only the biggest bike you'll see is a 600, and even then I didn't see many 600s because most of them are out, trying to get their Super Twins dialed.
Yeah.
And the first night of practice, Hillier came past, and it was the end of the Cronky Folly Straight. You got the right, and you got that where
Crowe crashed.
Was it Crowe?
Yeah, when he took all the barrier along.
It wasn't
with
Crowe.
him.
It was.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, Crowe went in after. It might have been Coward.
Anyway, yeah.
And then I think Crowe followed him and like snagged the thing on his. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So through that section there, and I was like thinking, fuck, I think it was my first lap by myself. And I'm just shitting myself, screaming in my helmet, every kind of emotion going like, I'm fucking flat out here. And then Hillier comes past, looks behind, stands up like a fucking jockey and slaps his ass like this for what seemed like a minute, but it was only for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm just fucking like eyes wide open going, fuck! It's just...
It's bonkers, isn't it?
That first night, it was just ridiculous. So,
I can remember... I don't even know... I can't remember if it was a race or one of the practice sessions. I thought I was going all right. I was riding a 600, a CBR 600, and I thought, yeah, this is all right. I'm getting the hang of this now. I feel pretty comfortable. And I just tipped into Kate's cottage at the top of the hill before Craig. Just tipped in, and then all of a sudden, boom, like that, John McGuinness come past me, flat out. Like
Sat you up?
Sat me up. But no, I didn't sit me up. Like he went past me that fast that he was through before I even realised, it wasn't like a dodgy, just, he was going for it, and I was too slow. But the speed differential that he was carrying around there, I remember thinking, fucking hell, like, if that's what you've got to do to win round here, I don't want to.
Well, he was the fastest man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
And what do you reckon? I suppose it's not a nice little segue, that, isn't it? McGuinness, the last year, or probably, it's going to be, isn't it?
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you?
I think he's doing everything under the sun now to prepare himself for not racing.
Yeah.
But, to go back to Honda after a shit time at Norton and everything else,
it
is like the perfect kind of homecoming, isn't it?
Have a one last TT with Honda, just so he's got his feet back firmly under the carpet of a job for life.
Yeah, a car.
Yeah. I'd love to see him do well. I think realistically, he's not going to have the pace to be with the lads at the very front.
No,
he's always going to be fast. He'll certainly be top 10. But I don't think he's going to put it on the line. Like, he's been there, done it. He's kind of he knows he's already peaked, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he knows as well as anyone else. There's a lot of people that are very, very, very hungry for it.
And the Honda's it's never been around there, is it? The new one.
No, yeah.
So, that's another, not an excuse, but it's got, that's not an easy place to go and set up a brand new bike.
No. And to be fair, no one's done anything on a Fireblade since probably
McGuinness.
Since McGuinness,
yeah.
So I'd love to see him do well, but realistically, I'd be surprised if he was on a podium. What about you? Do you think he's got anything on the bag?
I don't know. He's surprised everyone in the past, hasn't he? He's done some crazy stuff. When you think, I can't remember what year it was. It was only a few years ago.
That year, everyone kind of wrote him off, and then he went and won the
senior.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's got it in a tank. So, and you don't just lose. And and especially that gap, that 2-year hiatus, the break we've had, for someone like McGuinness to come back with all he knows, and just to go in and just under the radar.
Yeah, bang.
You never know. He's not going to win it. I don't think so. But
I suppose someone like that is well equipped to deal with a bit of a break. I think he had a break. I think in the early on in his TT career, he had a bit of time off when he was doing Brit. He had some other commitments.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's had time off in the past. He's not going to win, I don't think.
It's so difficult to look. I can't see anyone touching Harrison and Hickman.
But then you say that anything, a 6-lap Superbike or senior TT is a long way, and anyone can have a little crash.
Yeah.
Anyone can break down. You know, these Superbikes run out of fuel.
Yeah.
There's so much that can go wrong.
So we've done 135 mile an hour, which is
We haven't.
No, sorry. We've seen 135 mile an hour. What do you think is possible?
Now you're asking. I think it's one of them things where the sky's the limit, isn't it? Like you say, we've gone from 100, 130.
When was that?
I can't remember.
2000 and centenary.
It was a centenary.
2007.
2007, yeah.
Yeah.
John McGuinness. Yeah, because he held the big 130 sign, didn't he? Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so
that's still 15 years.
15 years. But I think it's
a big jump.
But I think it's gone the last few years. That jump's gone even quicker.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised that in 10 years' time it's 140. Within 10 years' time.
Yeah.
It could be 140, and then it's just going to keep getting faster and faster and faster, isn't it? Like you said, the circuit's getting better. Bikes are definitely getting faster, easier to ride.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll bring some sort of cap in before it starts. I mean, it's already silly, but it's
How would
only
that
going to
work?
get. I don't know. Maybe
Top speed limit top speed
limit, yeah, or a power limit. Do you know?
Because it is going to be safety. The fact is, this event is still going. This crazy event that, frankly, when you ride it, you go, "How is this legal?"
Yeah.
And we're out there, and it's still mind blowing how it's going. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining at all, but there has to be some measures, and there was lots of safety measures put in this year. For 2000
and they have to put them. They've put them safety measures in to safeguard the future of the event, haven't they? And I think it's all right. It's all right having all them safety measures, like you've got to wear one of these new FIM helmets. Or you've got to wear this. You've got to do that. But if you're going to send the lads out and they've got 250 horsepower and they can do 250 miles an hour, which in a few years they might be able to do, it makes a bit of a mockery of like the whole. Like, what's the point in having any health and safety? Because it's that you can't make that safe.
Yeah.
So I think maybe one day. Something I've never really thought about, to be honest with you. But I guess one day they might just have to, before someone else puts a stop to the event altogether, just okay, it's getting stupid now. Let's have 220 brake horsepower power cap or
a
speed,
a limit, weight and power limit.
Something.
I don't think anyone wants that, do they?
No.
No one wants it.
No, it'd be a shame because the point is you make the best bike you can.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, it's like the old Group B rally cars, wasn't it? That were just everyone just kept having accidents, bad accidents, and lots of people lost their lives, and they just said, "Well, we can't have that anymore," so they stopped it. So I think we'll both agree that our least favourite part of the track is that section from Ginger Hall to Ramsey, where all the bumps are. What's your favourite bit?
I remember talking about this around the TT lap we did last year with a mega test, and I honestly, I was riding around going, this is my favourite bit. And I was like, oh, no, this is my favourite bit. And it's like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think I love the mountain section because it's just fast, open. I really like Glen Helen to
up onto
McGuinness's and Kurt Michael.
Yeah.
I really like that. I like the first section, like the coming down for your first flying lap. Bray Hill, and that first bit all the way until bloody hell, really till bridge.
So basically, your least favourite bit is Ginger Hall to Ramsey, and your favourite bit is Ramsey to Ginger Hall.
It is. Yeah.
It's not far off that, to be honest. If I had to say my favourite single section, I absolutely love, and I could if you could just have that section over and over and over again, I'd ride it all day. Quarry Bends, so just before Sulby Straight. It's right, left, and it just gets faster and faster, and it's flowing. It's just it's like short circuit riding, but on a bigger, faster scale. But then everything up the mountain, from the gooseneck all the way to Hilbury. A lot of people don't like Hilbury, but I fucking love Hilbury.
No, it's not.
You can just throw it in, and it just the hill takes the speed off. Like you, I just like it all really.
Yeah.
I tell you what I like. I like the last lap, somewhere like coming out of the Craig, where everyone's there. You can pull a big wheelie and everyone's shouting. It's just it's mint. You feel like you're at a proper big. Well, it is a big event, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, so it's a special track.
So what? Come on then. What's your predictions
for who was going to win this year? Pete Hickman.
All of it.
I won't be surprised.
I'm gonna go Birchall Brothers. Sidecars.
Yeah, I don't think Higgy's going to win a sidecars. Yeah, Birchall Brothers. Them lads really are the only proper professional fast.
Dave Molyneux.
Not like them.
No.
Not like them boys. Not now. No. I don't think. He's. Them lads are like. You look at them and they could. Well, they could be. They could have just come out. Their setup and the way they carry themselves. They could
their
be
presentation.
MotoGP spec.
Yeah. If sidecars was still a world championship event in alongside MotoGP, or World Superbikes,
they wouldn't look out of place.
No, well, no, they are. They'd probably be winning it.
Yeah.
Super Twins. Is Hickey racing Super Twin?
Do you know what?
Is he on a Norton?
I don't actually know.
I think he was on. He had a Norton. I don't know. Obviously, that's going to carry on. But yeah, I mean, the lightweight. It's difficult to tell anyway, isn't it? There's so many. Well, and there's a lot of different bikes now, isn't there? Because it's been opened up a lot, and we've not actually had a TT since RS660s, R7s, stuff like that. I can't actually remember the whole list of things that you can ride in that now. Well, you can ride out board out. You can ride board out SVs, ER6s, so up to 700s.
That's going to be...
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting
Sorry, am I boring you?
Yeah, you are actually. Yeah. I'm fucking bored stiff. Start talking to you for an hour. That'd be an interesting one to watch. I'm looking forward to the lightweight race more to see what bikes are up there rather than particularly the riders.
Yeah. See if the Aprilia makes it.
Yeah.
Supersport. I mean, we've just seen his bike upstairs, Lee Johnston.
Yeah, he's fast on them small bikes.
He is rapid.
Yeah,
and
he's been doing British Supersport as well, hasn't he? And doing well in it. Yeah. So actually, I'll maybe stick Lee Johnson down for Supersport.
But as for big bikes, I think I can't see. I think Hickey on the top step, Harrison, and one of maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah. That third step's going to be someone like Dunlop, Hillier, Hutchie, Connor, Cummins.
Yeah.
Maybe McGuinness if a few people maybe break down.
Yeah. Hillier.
Yeah.
Did we say Hillier?
Yeah.
Did you? All right. Well done. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Anything else you want to add, Michael?
Don't know.
No.
Don't know. I think we've discussed everything there is to discuss about the Isle of Man TT. They've got a new ferry. Actually.
I saw that.
Yeah, they've got a new ferry coming. So it's not going to help anyone this year. But obviously, if you want to go to the Isle of Man to watch the TT,
it's not coming this year.
No, it's not for this year.
I see.
It's for next. So it's they floated it out last week, and it floats, but they've not finished building it yet. So they're building it in can't remember where.
Serves me right for not reading the story properly.
Yes, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be this side of the country for next year's TT. They reckon it's going to be ready for next spring, so that'll mean greater capacity. It's actually it's not that much bigger because you can only fit such a sized boat in the harbour at Douglas. But it's an extra 300 and something people capacity.
Is it?
And it's faster as well. So.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. What have you been doing? But don't forget to give Gorbs a shout out. If you want to get involved, hit the link in the description. And if you're help them out.
Yeah, help us out. If you're over on the Isle of Man, come and say hello. Come and have a brew.
Yeah.
Or a beer.
Yeah.
And we'll see you there.
Great. Okay. Bye for now. Thanks.
Best bits of the track. You talked about what you hated.
Fucking hell.
That your ring piece.
Yeah.
A ring bark.
Oh my fucking God. That is vile.
Is it going to come over here?
No. That is fucking vile.